Today I remember that the sun always was adored by civilizations because I remember that because I was making a magazine puzzles that was a phrase of a writer telling about money and the way of acquiring the money and acquiring and spending it. And I was so glad when I get all the words that my spirit began to feel of joy. Because really it was difficult for me because I had not the magazine. Then I had to copy all the squares with all the numbers, but it was mess for me because I had to follow the numbers, the letters, the squares, this, that. In this paper, this another. But I make the objective of ending it. When I ended, I went out of the street and walked in the street very slowly because there was something rare in the person. Don't know what it was. With the death of Nisman, and I turned out the corner, and when I was walking, something catch me, my t-shirt, my t-shirt. Then I stopped to take off the wire that had catch my t-shirt, and it was the garden child. Then I stop and look around to see why it had happened. Then I realized that the sun was blistering, was shining more and more. Then I took pictures to the sun and felt more happy because I like very much to take pictures of the sun when it is shining. Because in the picture it's noticed. And when I came back to home, I noticed that there were some words wrong, and then I changed the words. And after all persons in the building began to oblige me to speak about some things about maids, housekeepers, husbands, rich, and they began. And when I finished speaking on time, cook some food for dinner. I rested some minutes at the other bedroom. I remember two songs of mine. One that was for the group of the church of the 70 years. In that time I went to a group in the church near my home mother. and my spirit was full of joy in the meetings in the chat, because at home I was not very nice. I was always ugly, but at church I was always nice, because we're always looking for God in our sins. And then I made a song that was full of good feelings about the sun. And it was, I don't remember the lyrics, but was, the sun goes and he comes to look for me. The sun says me goodbye and came slowly, my love. They song the neon song that hurt. And yeah, so about the sun was 10 years after, and was about that, like the sun appears, the lyrics were, in the way that the sun shines, in that way you are. The life uh, shines through you. The life pouring out of you, and full my heart. And I love you. But the reality of the situation are closing the ways and are leaving only two ways. And it was about the sun. And I remember that when it's always raining and the clothes are wet and we are not at home, and we began to feel bad because of the rain, and our hair is wet, or and the sun appeared, we felt the warmth of the sun on the skin, and the drying, the water began to disappear slowly. And I made that song, that two songs, one in the 70 years and the other in the 80 years. And one was that the sun was going out, and the other that the sun was coming. And I don't know if perhaps it was because my grandparents were going to die in that time, and after 10 years my daughter and son were going to appear. That it was some way of encouraging me or advising me in one case, like I realizing that the love of parents are, but the love of grandparents sometimes are greater because, not greater, but have no corrections, are more like the love of son. And the same, the love of son and daughter, is a warm love. That is not the same love of sisters. It's not very warm love, the sister's love, or the mother or father love. Perhaps the mother love when we are kids, and the husband, there are some kind of ugly things in the cellos or the discussions. Well, and the son songs were two. One was the 17 and in those cases, in both of the cases, the church, the persons treat me differently because at home I was ugly and at roommate more or less no were very ugly but no were very nice neither. But at church I really was a nice person. And the same happened to me for working because with my boss I was an ugly person. But with some of the other engineers I was not so ugly. And then they were different in the temperature of the treatment, like the sun. And it was the same that happened at the church. That when I entered to the groups of the church, I felt a more warm treatment in the person. And was not education or polite or that they were kind for me with me or not. It was sign of the appreciation if I was a nice person or not. And it's because sometimes I have to leave some water in the glasses because the person who lives with me is a very bad person, and some person is other persons have a glass with someone to drink. It may be possible that he is not so bad. But if I don't leave the glass with water or with cheese or something to think like puzzles or something like that, he may do all the things bad that he sometimes did. And I thinking that I had to greet him, but